Here we are. We've just gone through WWE Raw Death. 2 matches in a row that honestly I just had no cares for. Normally, sometimes when you're at a big show or you're watching a big show, you know, they have a big, awesome match and then they send out the divas to sort of cool you down a little bit, you know, for the next big main event. So that way when they come out, you get all loud and you're not still, you know, you have time to rest in between matches, basically what it was. The next match after this one better be a damn good one because we just sat through Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan, where Luke was able to get the win after one of his clotheslines. And, you know, during the match, you had Noble and Mercury on the outside, acting as pretty much guest referees. I refuse to care about any match that these guys are in, singles or against each other, until we find out why these guys broke up. It's just me. Until I have that part of the equation, I have no cares. From there, we go to an ambulance match. Bray Wyatt against Dean Ambrose. This was built up. This was, I thought, which was going to be the main event tonight. Seeing how basically everybody knows the story, but we'll run through it one more time. Bray showing up at the Hell in the Cell, ruining Ambrose's chance to beat Rollins. From there, they had the TLC match. You know, from TLC, they went to the boot camp match. They went to the Miracle on 34th Street match. They had the, didn't they have a singles match at the Survivor Series? Yeah, they had the singles match at the Survivor Series, so we have seen them have a singles match, just without anything. And then, of course, now we polished off with the ambulance match. I'm sure somewhere along the way I missed some sort of a match. So, you know, they built from a singles match to the TLC match. They immediately went to the boot camp match, which turned into the Miracle on 34th Street match, and now you finish it off with the ambulance match. I'm pretty sure that's the way it went down. Maybe something I missed along the way, but I think a lot of you guys are like me, just in this already. This didn't work. I know when this happened at Hell in the Cell, and it looked like Wyatt and Ambrose were going to go on their ways to have an awesome deal. Ambrose was going to be able to have a more, you know, direct, weird style of promo. Bray Wyatt was going to be able to play in on Dean Ambrose's past, and we were going to be able to find out more about him. We didn't get none of that. All we got was a big pile of crap, and that happens sometimes in wrestling, you know. Yeah, we got to see Bray Wyatt main event a pay-per-view at TLC. We got to see, you know, Dean Ambrose main event his second pay-per-view of the year, you know, with the Hell in the Cell and TLC. So maybe there is some good that comes out of this. I don't really remember the TLC match off the top of my head, so yeah, it is what it is. But everybody's been, you know, talking about how Ambrose loses all of his matches on pay-per-view, any kind of a big deal that he's in ever since the breakup with the Shield. I don't think Dean Ambrose has thought one time about him losing these matches. You know, Ambrose is probably in a better situation he is now than he was when the Shield breakup went down. He's just one of those guys that can lose and stay hot. I mean, the crowd is with him. I don't think he's turning into another Dolph Ziggler. Well, that's kind of a cheap shot there, but I think some people might understand what I'm saying. If you hated what I said there about Ziggler and Ambrose, leave it in the comment box below, and it's well-deserved. I just didn't have a way to think of it, but Ziggler's another guy that, you know, whenever this guy gets hot, all of a sudden they just need him to lose a match, and that turns into 1 match to 2 match. Next thing you know, Ziggler hasn't had a win in a month. But I think Ambrose has some sort of a magical thing right now. No matter what he does, he could lose a match to Fandango on SmackDown this week, and people would still cheer that motherfucker when he walked out on Raw. But this was a match that, you know, Bray Wyatt got the win. They had a lot of cool spots in this match. We had the big elbow from Ambrose putting Bray Wyatt through a table. But basically the story of this was just basically that Bray Wyatt was able to take out the knee of Dean Ambrose. You know, he just beat him to the point to where he couldn't keep going anymore. We basically saw Dean sell the knee throughout the whole match. You know, Bray was hitting it with all sorts of weapons. He was banging against the ambulance itself, with using the ambulance as a weapon. I'm just glad we didn't get the fall through the top of the ambulance. When Bray Wyatt jumped on top of the ambulance, that's where I thought it was going. I mean, we've seen guys fall through limos. We've seen people fall through the ambulance before, with the gimmick top and everything like that. But it was what it was. Basically Bray Wyatt was able to hit Sister Abigail on Dean Ambrose, but Dean Ambrose was able to prevent himself from being stuffed into the ambulance. He just was fighting off, and finally they got to the point where Bray Wyatt hit hit a second Sister Abigail, and they packed Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt packed up Dean Ambrose, threw him in the back of the thing, and it was over. Crowd didn't really react to this match at all. I think, like I said, I think a lot of people are just praying for this to be over with. Maybe Ambrose, we won't see him until his return at the Rumble. Give him a couple of weeks off. From here, Bray Wyatt, I don't know what he does, but I don't know. I hope it's good. I mean, that's all I gotta say. I keep on hearing people talk about WWE and Bray Wyatt's and like this elite group of guys that is the future of the company. I mean, you think of how all these guys that are out there right now, that everybody always talks about the Shield members. You got Ambrose, you got Rollins, you got Reigns. People talk about Bray Wyatt as one of these main eventer guys that's supposed to slip into this Undertaker role. As of right now, I don't see it. He hasn't had a real match. He hasn't had a real angle. He hasn't had anything that really connected to me. I liked the SummerSlam Fire match with Kane. I didn't really understand what happened. I didn't know when Kane returned. I didn't know why Kane wasn't a part of the Wyatts. Where was he for so long? I know he was making his movie, but you would think that they took him back to their house and they hypnotized him and they joined the thing. I kept on waiting for them to have people join up into their group. Maybe take a guy like Zack Ryder, a guy you weren't doing anything with, and sort of hypnotize him. He falls into the trance of the cult. And next thing you know, Zack Ryder is this guy who was a babyface that they weren't doing anything with. It's not like Ryder has to be out there scoring all sorts of wins, but I mean, like Ryder has been like Ryder and Hawkins when they were the Edgeheads and La Familia. I mean, like they were the tag team. They were the tag team champions. They were winning their matches pretty cheaply. But I mean, like when they interrupted in matches, they were the guys that were there to get beat up. So I mean, it wasn't like they needed to turn Ryder into a big star. Who knows? He finally is in there so long, people start cheering for Ryder because they know that he is acting up because he's under the spell of Wyatt, and then he finally is able to break that spell. Maybe they could have, jump-started Ryder, and he could have been something in the company again. But that's what I was looking for. Bray really hasn't connected with me. I don't see him as being a future star of the company. I understand why people have him linked in there because of his family lineage. And, he was in Deep South. He was NXT for so long. And that, Triple H isn't going to give up on those guys. I mean, we keep on seeing Adam Rose get shoved out there week after week. And that's not working either. So, I don't know. He's in that special group, so we'll have to see where this goes. I'd be really surprised to see what happens. This is a matchup we'll probably see later on in their careers. They're so young in their WWE career. If they're going to be here for a long time, the main event, they're going to match up again. Let's just hope that next time it works out better than this time.